Welcome, 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 everybody. We are back after a brief hiatus with YMA Mat Chat, episode number 82. And I want to welcome Mr. Yarwood, and I am Coach Les, and we are going to be talking about the legacy that we inherit. This is our Memorial Day podcast. So stay tuned. We're going to have some really fun stuff for you to look and be responsible about who you are and what is the stamp you are going to leave on this earth. Over to you, Mr. Yarwood.
Yeah, Memorial Day for me. I hear a lot of people thanking veterans on Memorial Day, and it has nothing to do with live veterans. It's called Memorial Day, which means we remember those who sacrificed before us so that we could be here. Veterans Day is in November, but Memorial Day is where we go to the cemeteries and put flags. We remember maybe family members that gave, maybe friends whose family members gave their lives or sacrificed or passed away. That's kind of what Memorial Day is all about. So we, as a nation, as individuals, have inherited what they have produced for us through the blood that they shed to make sure that we can live free. And it's an important thing to think about. I look at it from this standpoint. I live my life so that I would hope that my grandfather, my great uncles, my uncles who are passed away will be proud of what I'm doing, right? Did they sacrifice so that I can go be a jerk off out in the world, or am I actually doing something of value to emulate the sacrifice that they gave? So I look at it. It's an important holiday for me. Sure, we get together with family and friends and barbecue and all. That's all fine, and that's not a problem. We do the same thing, but you just got to make sure you take the time to sit down and really think about what it is that came before us that put us where we are now, and are we living up to the legacy that we've been left, and are we going to leave something better for those who come after us? So it's important that you get out there and actually really truly think about all those who literally gave their lives so that we could be here today doing our podcast, doing taekwondo, running an ice cream shop, whatever it is, right? Everything that we do is because of those who came before us and who sacrificed for us so that we can be here.
And for me, I look at not only what the people before us have done to so that we can have this beautiful world that we live in, but how do I honor them in such a way that if they were standing right next to me, they would go, wow, you really have taken what our family has created and taken it to the next level.
Yep.
And the only thing that I caution people on is there are a lot of people out there that go, oh, well, I really want my kids to not go through the hardship that I went through as a child. So the parents give them everything.
Yeah.
They give them a $1,500 phone at 9 years old. And I look at that stuff and I go, okay, I understand a certain amount of, making it easier, passing along some goodwill. I also think that we have to be responsible for the fact that we were, as iron sharpens iron, we were sharpened by our parents. And if we try to mollify that sharpening on our children, there's going to come a reckoning, and there's going to come a day when the kids don't realize.
Yep.
Part of to me, one of the things that I couldn't wait to get married so that I could buy a house together. I couldn't wait to get married so we could buy a new car together. It may not be, when I say new to us, right? And it may not, because we're together and we're working on it together, it's not a, $500 beater that I bought on the corner.
Yeah.
And, and watch and turn the key and it sputters to life. And I'm like, yeah, I got a car that works. You look forward to that day when you're married and you can go and buy a car that's actually got a warranty. And there's some security to it as a family. And I look at, oh my gosh, in the parking lot yesterday of our ice cream store and the Mexican restaurant, I walked past a car that had writing all over it. And it was basically, congratulations on graduating from high school. And they basically gifted them this car. And I looked at the car and I went, wow. What's the next thing they're going to live for? Like, how do they go up from that?
Yep.
And this was high school. That literally, my experience, and I know this isn't everybody's, but my experience was show up, do the homework, take the tests, and you pass.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, it's not set up to like college where there's some actual push for you to have to like make it through.
Yep.
So, that's my only thought is to be mindful, create something, and remember to leave something for the future. Buy them a used vehicle so that they can look forward to buying a new vehicle. And 16-year-olds that get their driver's license, and I go and I look and I see they got a brand new SUV. I mean, this one gal had a white Audi Q4, and I know. I mean, Audi Q4. It's a $30,000 car, used.
That's more than mine. Brand new.
And I look at that and I go, okay, I know that they're an Audi family, right? Quote unquote. And I look and they don't work for the dealership. They just like Audis. And I think this is nuts. And you and I both know that the propensity, the likelihood of that car getting into an accident in the first 6 months to a year is, I don't know, 99%.
Pretty much guaranteed.
And you're going to pay as much to repair that car as some people pay for their first new car.
Yep.
And then your insurance goes up.
And my insurance goes up.
So, I think this is a really good, I think today is going to be a good opportunity, right? It's the same thing for me. I want people that know me, people that work around me, families, to go, oh, you do martial arts? How come? I said, go and take your kids. You'll see.
Yep.
Oh, your kid's really hyper and dealing with attention deficit. Go do martial arts. Right? There are these things that are, to me, they're legacy things for me to pass along to people.
Yep.
Don't buy a brand new car. go get a car that's a good one, that works, that is
Mhm.
reliable, and let them learn on that one. Let them see the value. By all means, if you want to buy it for them, go for it. Do I think that I think there's a way to earn it? Yes. I love that. I mean, I just had a client of uh, come up to me and say to me today, Les, I just paid out some bonuses from our net profit for the first quarter of the year. And I'm like, what was that like? He goes, man, I've never seen our guys so happy, and my wife, because everybody's so happy.
Yep.
And it's not like there's anything, you know, I didn't lose any money. I just did, took your advice and created a way to uh, have the guys work a little extra harder. Same thing. Same thing with school, right? I'd do the
Yep.
same thing. I'd say, look, you go get a part-time job, and for the hours that you put in the part-time job, I'll match them into a savings account. I mean, what a great incentive.
Yep.
I mean, Holy Hannah, if you come and work at the ice cream shops, that's $25 an hour. Now we're talking $50 an hour.
Adds up fast.
Yeah. By the time
Maybe I'll do that.
from 15 to 21, by the time you graduate from college, get engaged, get married, there's going to be you're going to have a savings account with enough to buy a house.
Yep. Yep. Yeah,
So,
we're putting my boy on track for getting a new house, his own house. Got a plan in place for him to start doing that. Instead of just renting, he's going to own and rent to his buddies.
that's, I mean, I think I told you about the guy that's in my networking group on Thursday mornings. He's been, his parent, he went to the University of Minnesota, and this was a long time ago, early 80s, mid 80s. And he decided, you know what, I'm not going to rent, I'm going to buy. And he bought a house, and then he rented out the rooms to couple of his buddies and a couple of other people that they interviewed. He now owns probably more property than anybody else around the University of Minnesota, St. Thomas, Augustana, Concordia, and all those schools, McAllister. And he just, that's his business now.
Yep.
Yeah. Woo! He went to college, got a degree, and he's already, he was already banking a business.
Yep.
But I think it's great.
Yeah, for when we talk about the word legacy came up. For us, like for what I teach at my school, we're teaching not only kids for their future, but we're teaching them what we've learned from our instructors. I got my start from my instructor. She taught me a ton of stuff, right? About all the things that I'm teaching now. Obviously, I've expanded on her knowledge, which is kind of the goal, right? Take what I've learned and expand it, hand it off, and then that next person expands it, and then they hand it off and it expands. Martial arts in particular has a long history of that. I mean, you go way back, and there's a lineage that just is. I mean, you probably can't even find the beginning. It's so far back, right? And it's an important thing, like handling the traditions and the understanding of the old, and then taking that and then making it yours, and then adding to it, right? So we just keep passing it on and passing it on and passing it on. When we do our black belt ceremonies, we have a candle lighting ceremony, and that flame represents the wisdom of our instructors that we had. So I have a candle that was lit by my instructor, I take that flame and hand it and pass it off and light the candle of my students. Someday down the road, when they become instructors, they do the same thing and pass that knowledge on to the next student. It's just this long-standing knowledge. You can trace it all the way back, and that's just how we represent that. We memorialize what our instructors have taught us and pass it on to our students. It's the undertow of everything that we do in the martial arts, right? We respect our heritage, we respect our where we came from, and then we make it better, and then pass it on to the next generation. And it's a huge part of what we do.
I think if so, you just reminded me, Bruce Lee. I mean, here's a guy that not only learned what he learned, but he found more and more people to learn from.
Mm-hmm.
And he continued so that he could evolve. And his goal was, what if I take the best of this and the best of this and put it together? What can I create?
Yep.
And you look and you see he's created something that is, incomprehensible. I mean, I just listened to a 30-minute video about the conversation about his one inch punch.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of those videos?
Yep.
1 inch away, and he can send a 250-pound man, in a chair, scooting across like a whole auditorium, and not even break a sweat with the 1 inch punch.
Yeah.
That transference and the discipline that it took. And you see it, and I hear it, and I've listened more and more and more and more. I've been listening to a lot of SEALs and Delta Force operators, and listening to YouTubes and about them, and the level to which they train themselves. I just heard that the head of the Secret Service, gave a task to the Delta Force and said, I want you to break into the White House. So for 11 weeks, they trained on an offsite, at a location that was the White House. And it took them 7 minutes to get into our and they were sitting in the Oval Room. 7 minutes. And the proof is the picture that they took of themselves in the Oval Office, which, by the way, this video tube, the person doing the video tube says, which, by the way, has yet to surface because it's classified.
Yeah.
Because they don't want the Delta operatives to be seen, right?
Yep.
But they had to do it to be able to prove. And I look at that kind of stuff and I just think, man, the level of skill and the level to which you get to be that good at something that it is so second nature. Your frontal cortex is processing other stuff while your subconscious is managing the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, those the SEALs in particular, there's actually a really great book about the history of naval warfare and where it started and how it came about and how it got to where it is now. And that's a long-standing tradition. A lot of really cool stuff that got to the point where Navy SEALs became who they are. And there's a lot of people who sacrificed a lot of things to get to the point where they exist today. They haven't always been the SEALs. They date way, way beyond the SEALs. They weren't always called SEALs. They were actually part of their start was in the Army. mean, there's just a long, go all the way back. It's pretty. It's a book, I think it's called Underwater Beneath the Walls, and it's the history of naval warfare, or naval special warfare. But that talks a lot about about understanding traditions and understanding what it is you were given from your forefathers, what they did in order for you to exist the way you do, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But those types of things that's what's important. That's what gets us to where we are, right? We don't just exist suddenly, right? Each person has a long-standing history all the way behind them that got them to where they are today, right? They have a family tree or whatever you want to call it. But all that tradition, all that stuff culminates now in me. And now I pass it on to my son, and then he passes it on and passes it on. And it just keeps going, right? But when we sit and think about the importance of the sacrifices people made for us that probably didn't even know us, right? There's you can go back 3-4 generations. Those family members don't know us. They never knew us. They didn't know anything about us, right? We didn't exist at the same time. But what we've become is something that they passed on from their forefathers, right? So it's just that long-standing tradition, and you gotta think about. I think there's a tendency to be very selfish these days and not think about anything other than who you are, who you think you are, who you think you want to be, and you don't take into account what got you to who you are in the first place, or what you are going to leave somebody else, your next of kin, your family, right? What traditions are they gonna live by? So it's important that we understand that so we can honor that sacrifice that others have made so that we can be who we are. And if you act like that, you're selfish, or you don't, you take everything for granted, you are doing a disservice to those who came before you.
I also think that when you're paying attention to those people and you're seeing what they are doing and what they've done for you, I mean that I look at, imagine what it would have been like, right, to be coming out of Ireland, where there was all the religious turmoil going on, or coming out of England, where you didn't fit in, you got into trouble with the law, and they threw you on a boat, and over to the United States you fled.
Yep.
And then you come to this country, and you then have to make it. You got to make it happen. And yes, even back then, this was the country where people were gifted. They were gifted. You could earn your way into miracles. The question and what I look at is, for us, we live in such a privileged society.
Yep.
That to see, excuse me, and to acknowledge that. I mean, nobody had halos back then. I mean, there are people that say, "Oh, I can't believe what we did to the Indians. Oh, I can't believe what we did with the slaves." Okay, yeah, we had growing pains, and we grew through it. We have done our best to give restitution to the American Indian community. We have done our best to give restitution to many of the to several former slave families and things like that, and look and see where some of them have risen. Some of them hold extraordinary positions that can trace their lineage back to being slaves coming across in the hold of a ship, barely making it.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're surgeons and lawyers and doctors and dentists and
Supreme Court justices and presidents.
Yeah. I mean, and it's like, you know, the legacy there is, and I know there's a lot of animosity and there's a lot of people that have a lot of hatred and enemy and you know, all these negative feelings. I look at it and go, wow, what a privilege that we got to be where we are. I mean, yes, I was born in England. Yes, my dad was born in Scotland. My mom was born in England. They can trace their heritage back to Celts coming across from, you know, Europe. And the stuff that they had to go through back then, we have no idea, no comprehension, because there weren't any the records weren't there. And I look and I go, you know what? Wherever you come from, don't kid yourself. There is no easy path. I mean, you know, I know some people that are millionaires that have kids, and you'd think, oh wow, I wish I'd been one of those kids to be the son or a daughter of a millionaire. The headaches that they have to deal with, the stuff that they have to manage. I'm okay. I like what my parents put me through. I mean, maybe I didn't when I was going through it. And I wished I was somebody else, because the grass always looks greener over on the other side of the fence.
Yep.
Until you get over to the side of the fence.
You realize it was painted green.
or you look and you go, wow, there is brown blades over here. Yeah. And you know, I think of that, and those things to me are an opportunity, and we miss it.
Yep.
And I know that there are kids that came from millionaire families that I went to high school with. Some said no to their parents' money, walked away from all of it, started a life in another state, started from scratch, met somebody, got married, had kids, established their own position, their own place, their own wealth, and then reconnected with their family. And to hear the story and to hear some of that, look, Dad, Mom, I felt suffocated. And I wanted to make it on my own. You and Mom gave me a gift. I wanted to go and use that gift to create my own world, and our own world, and my own family, and our own legacy. Now I get to come and shake your hands and say, look how well you trained me. Mm-hmm. Look at everything I learned from you. Thank you. And they just had to get out from underneath.
But sometimes that is the opportunity that they're given, right? Maybe that's what they're supposed to do. Because if you're someone who's got everything given to you, you really aren't something who's creating. You're somebody who's using, right? You're given something that somebody else did all the work for. And at some point, I don't think that feels good, because you haven't produced anything, right? You haven't done anything. You haven't experienced anything. You do everything you have, somebody else did. And I don't know that would make me feel good. I don't know that that's, memorializing the people before me by taking all their crap and, not doing anything with it. And to me that there's nothing there for me, right? I don't know that I could do that. It would be hard to know, to be my age now and know everything that I've done is because somebody else did it for me. Right? I just wouldn't feel good about that. And then how do I pass that on to my son? If I haven't done anything myself, how do I show him what he's supposed to do?
Yeah.
Right? We're the example for the next generation. And if all they see is, oh, you got all your stuff from your dad, so I should get all my stuff from you. That's not good. And then, like you said, in the moment, it might suck for them because I'm not giving you nothing. You got to go earn it. And they'll be like, but you got, like, that's fine. But someday, trust me, you'll thank me, which we do.
Well, and I think that, when I got into some trouble, legal trouble as a younger kid, my parents could have come and bailed me out. Instead, they came and met me, held me accountable, and said, okay, you got to figure your way out of this.
Yep.
And because
here's what I'm going to do to help.
Yeah. And they just,
figure it out.
Yeah, basically that was it. They weren't going to provide me with anything. They didn't give me money. I set up a payment plan with the attorney. I set up a payment plan with the state and the court, and I did the time, cleaning bus state. I did 80 hours of cleaning bus stops.
Yeah.
Right. And at the end of it, I went, well, I think my 25 minutes of joyriding was not worth 80 hours and the money I paid.
The ROI just isn't there.
Nope. I think there's better ways to get, 200 miles or 165 miles an hour on a motorcycle rather than doing it in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
And, and I learned. And my parents were there. They stood for me. They were, like, we love you. And I'll never forget my stepmom. She said, Les, I'm disappointed in you. I mean, she could have yelled at me. She could have slapped me. I could have handled all of that. Yeah. But to say I'm disappointed in you, I just was like,
that's like a stab to the chest.
Unbelievable. Like what it took. And, and in my head, I'm like, what's it going to take for me to get back to where you're not disappointed in me?
Yeah.
And I didn't say it, but my actions.
80 hours of cleaning bus stops.
Yeah. I've never seen so much gum underneath a seat. It's like, what the heck, man? The buses would allow you to chew gum on them. You didn't have to chew it and leave it. Yeah. Well, cool. Any final thoughts on this?
Well, the closing message is I can pretty much sums it up. The greatest way we honor sacrifice is by becoming people worthy of it. Those who gave their lives so that we can be who we are. If we're not living up to that sacrifice, we're wasting it. And that's not good.
Amen. Yep. Amen.
Yep.
Well, thank you again.
Sir.
We had a couple people come in. Somebody gave us a thumbs up. Jack Smale. I don't know if you know that name.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Smale.
Yep, he came in and gave us a thumbs up. And then we got a bunch of people on. What's that?
Thumbs up.
Yeah. And then we had a couple people on X that were watching. So thank you once again. And we'll be back next Wednesday with episode number 83. Have a great week. Enjoy the good weather. I think summer is finally here. Memorial Day came and the weather keeps, it was 91 degrees today.
Oh, it's ridiculously hot today.
Ice cream day, man. Gotta go get your ice cream. All right, sir. Thank you very much. And here we go.
See ya.